a video on a pudding I need to make, and it's using lots of the stuff that I've kind of been making, that I've got knocking around. So it's kind of like a trifle, kind of like a tiramisu type of thing. It's delicious. I've made it loads of times in the past, and it's always kind of a winner in my eyes. The basic premise is sponge fingers soaked in some juice, maybe a little bit of alcohol, and then a layer of jam, any jam you fancy. Something kind of quite tart is nice though, and then crème légère on top, which is a mixture of half whipped double cream and half thick custard, whipped until it's smooth. Or you fold there's a video actually, and it should be before or after this, and you whip up the double cream so it's quite a firm peak, and then you make a thick custard, let it go cold, make it puree so it's nice and smooth, and then fold them together, and you end up with that luxurious cream there. So, and yeah, jam, and then that on top, and then what I do is whatever biscuits I've got in the house. So I've got some Gingernut biscuits, and I've got some cocoa powder. So we'll smash up some cocoa powder. So for the topping, I'll smash up some biscuits, make them into a crumb, and then mix the crumbs with some of the cocoa and sprinkle that on top. It doesn't sound like that impressive, but it is. It's delicious. So the jam I'm going to use also is the jam from the infused gin. So I made some jam from the fruit from infused gin. It turned out kind of quite well, and I thought it's a good opportunity to use that. I also squeezed out the excess juice from those fruits, and I have got that juice here. Which one is it? It's not that one. Yes, it's that one. So I save the juice because I save everything. So there's about 200 grams worth of sponge fingers. This is going to give 10 extremely generous portions. You don't need too much of this. So we're going to put on 250 milliliters to start off with. So this is the gin infused fruity juice. Probably need a little bit more, but you can use cordial as well. Yeah, we're going to need more than 250 mils. I think we'll need about 500 mils for this amount. It smells lovely. Wow. Use that much, okay. So we'll use 250 mils of this, and then I've got some grape juice that I've made, which we'll just add a bit more to. What's that? I'm going to do 2 trays. That's 250 mils. I'm going to do 2 trays, so I don't want to use it all. I'm just not going to do 2 trays at the same time. So this is just some grape juice I've got, but like the fruit juices that you like, a pomegranate juice or a cherry juice or a cranberry juice, those kind of, they sell them as fruit juices in the supermarket, and you think they're kind of healthy, but they're not, because they're full of sugar and kind of need a little bit of watering down. Use those neat, or a little bit of cordial, but make like a strong cordial. So what you'd normally drink. I don't know how much cordial you add to like a 500 milliliters of liquid, well 400 milliliters of liquid we're going to be using. Yeah, well about 500 milliliters of liquid, kind of double the amount of cordial that you would use into the water, so it's nice and strong. So that's about, where are we? That's about 450 mils, which is just about right. So they are starting to go soft. We don't want them too soft, also we don't kind of want them hard. And then, so jam, it's going to be about, it's going to be about a jar's worth. So I reckon that's a normal sized jar of jam. I reckon there's 2 jars in that. So one of these 450 grams worth of jam, but I'm using my own, so it probably wants breaking down. I'll just soften it a little bit before we start. I can't guess what's about half. that. I found that cherry jam works best if you can find a sour cherry. A lot of people kind of don't like jams to be really sweet, but I think like a sour cherry jam gives you that nice balance of acidity in something like this. So just a little bit more. Like that. Make sure all the half decently spread all over. Do like that, and then crème légère on top. Now you can't put cocoa in the fridge. So what wants to happen with cocoa is it goes bitter if it goes in the fridge, which is not what you want for a pudding. So this is, you make this, put it in the fridge like this, and then get the topping ready and put the topping on just as you pull it out of the fridge and cut into it for the best results. You don't have to put cocoa in, I just think it's nicer with the cocoa, and you'll see when I take a picture. So that onto there like that. Crème légère is a little bit soft, but it will foam up once it goes into the fridge. So there we go. Quite simple, quite quick. I used sponge fingers that I've made myself, but you can buy them all the same, and you can use tin custard if you like. So I'll do it in the recipe if you want. If you make your own custard, that's one thing, but you can use tin custard, but you just need to slightly use less tin custard than you would your own thick custard. I'll put that in the description. So that can go in the fridge, and then just before I cut into it, I'll smash up the biscuits and the cocoa and sprinkle that on top when it comes out of the fridge, and then serve it, and it'll look delicious, and it will be delicious. Right, it's ready for the topping. As you can see, it's firmed up as it's been in the fridge. So although it felt a little bit loose when I made it, creme chantilly, it's now firmed up. Right, so this is 250 grams worth of Gingernut biscuits mixed with, that was 2 tablespoons worth of cocoa. So cocoa by itself can be a little bit boring, but with the addition of some Gingernut biscuits or some Digestive biscuits or your biscuits of choice, it certainly makes things a lot more interesting and adds that bit of crunch to the top if you add it last minute. So sprinkle on the top, be generous. Smell them, it's delicious. Cut this. This is always the problem. I think there. I think there's 12 good portions in that, depending on what size portion you want to give. You could do with a spoon, but I haven't got one. I'll just have to go and get a spoon. Maybe not 12 portions. Yeah, probably actually. I need a spoon, hang on. And then we've got a plate. Willow pattern, talk about retro, eh? So we'll pull that one out. Like that. And then, I don't think you'll be able to kind of see the layers. You won't be able to see the layers until taking a picture, but you kind of get the idea. But it is delicious. So I better just taste. Just that bit there. That's delicious as well. That's delicious. Don't skimp on the jam. Use plenty of jam, and use quite a not particularly sweet jam, because the top's really sweet, and the crunchy bit on the coating on the top is really sweet. The crème chantilly is kind of quite sweet, and the base is kind of quite sweet. But some sherry in the base is really nice, or a spot of brandy or a little bit of whiskey, something like that. Some nice sharp jam, like a cherry jam. If you don't like cherry jam, what would I recommend? Like a raspberry would be okay, but I think a cherry jam works particularly well. Well, there's that jam that I made, but that's only because of what I had in the cupboard. But there you go. That is delicious and relatively easy to make. Not that dissimilar, kind of halfway in between a tiramisu and a trifle, if I'm honest. But can we just kind of get the idea without it falling? But that is delicious. There we go. What to do with crème? I wanted to call it crème chantilly. It's not crème chantilly. I've forgotten what it's called. Crème something or other. I've forgotten. What was it called? Not to worry. But anyway, Crème Légère. There we go. Now I remember. So there we go. Delicious. Kind of something that you can throw together with what you've got in the cupboard, or what I've got in the cupboard anyway. But there you go. Delicious. Give it a try. I'll put the proper recipe in the description.